The signing of Martin Odegaard for just £30 million has proven to be a bargain for Arsenal, growing game by game, scoring goals and showing signs of leadership. With the Arsenal captaincy still vacant after Aubameyang's departure, could Mikel Arteta give it to the Norwegian? Also, what type of striker are Arsenal set to target, and what's happening with the future of Alexandre Lacazette? Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Blabs14. Welcome back to your boys channel. We are back again with that consistent content, so I hope you guys are enjoying as always. If you do, smash a like and subscribe if you are new, because we are on the road to, as you know, 80,000 subscribers. But let's get into the Arsenal news, and starting off, let's talk the Arsenal captaincy. Now, first things first, I want to make this clear, and this might come across as slightly controversial, but I think in the current day of football, captaincy is actually kind of low-key overrated. Essentially speaking, if you want to be an elite team fighting for titles, every single player on that pitch has to be somewhat of a leader. But with that being said, let's talk the Arsenal captaincy. After Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's departure, stripped the captaincy, right now it's Alexandre Lacazette that's starting and taking the captain's armband. But he is of course a player that looks set to leave Arsenal come the end of the season. So with that being the case, is it going to be Kieran Tierney? Some people have said Aaron Ramsdale. Who is going to be the next Arsenal captain? Well, according to the Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta, it might just be Martin Odegaard. When he was asked about Odegaard's credentials to be captain, he said he is moving in the right way. He is the national team captain. He is one of the senior players here for sure, even at his age, and it comes very natural to him. His whole mindset, the way he prepares himself, the way he treats people, the way he plays the game, he is exactly what we want in an Arsenal player. High praise from Mikel Arteta, saying that Martin Odegaard is a natural captain, and he's not lying there. This guy's a player that is still 23 years old, but he's been given the captaincy of his entire country. To become the captain of your country at such a young age, it shows signs of leadership, and it shows Martin Odegaard is seen as a captain behind the scenes. If you watch Martin Odegaard closely, he's always a very commanding, very vocal player, a player that tells players where to be, that commands players to press, to get into the action. He's a player that clearly has that work rate to be a captain, but also has the quality on the ball. Even though this is a player that is still yet to complete a full year as an Arsenal player, it looks like the other Arsenal players look to Martin Odegaard when the going gets tough, and that is the epitome of a captain. When things aren't going to plan, who do you look to? You look to your captain, and that looks to be the case with the current Arsenal players. When things aren't going well for them, they look to Martin Odegaard, look to find him on the pitch and then allow him to do his magic. When Odegaard himself was asked about the captaincy talk, he said, "You know what, I haven't thought about that yet, to be honest. That's not something that I really want to achieve. Of course, if it happens one day, it's cool and all that stuff, but I am not going to change as a person if it happens. I don't feel like I have changed when I captain the national team. I do my thing, but that is not important for me." Now, some fans might see that quote and go, look, he doesn't want to be the Arsenal captain. It should be a privilege to be an Arsenal captain. Who doesn't want to be an Arsenal captain? But for me, I interpret it in a different way, and that being that he doesn't need to have the title of being Arsenal captain, or even having the armband to be a captain on the pitch, to be a leader, to demand best of his players. He takes a responsibility automatically, and that's why he was given the captaincy of the Norwegian national team in the first place. And that is also why I think Mikel Arteta has looked at Martin Odegaard, watched him very closely in game and in training, the way he sets an example, the way he plays, the pace, the intensity, the work rate. I do believe that Mikel Arteta is seriously considering making Martin Odegaard the next Arsenal captain. But then again, you also have other players potentially like Kieran Tierney. So I'm sure this will be a massive discussion point for you Arsenal fans to answer down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on Martin Odegaard, and do you think he can be the next Arsenal captain? And if it isn't to be Martin Odegaard, what Arsenal player do you guys have in mind? Moving on to Mikel Arteta, because according to Simon Collins of the Evening Standard, he claims that Arteta likes to set the tone for the working days at London Colney. After arriving around 8 AM, a full hour before anyone else, players are now following his lead and arriving early, choosing to have breakfast at the training ground and chat with their teammates. All this talk in the media about Arsenal's cultural change, are Arsenal's players changing behind the scenes, and what changes are we seeing? This, if it is true, is an example of that. The job of a manager is to set a tone, and that is exactly what Mikel Arteta is doing, and it looks like these Arsenal players are now starting to follow. The same report also claims that one Arsenal player could not keep a smile off his face when he walked into the canteen at the club training ground earlier this season. On this occasion, it was small Brazilian flags and staff dressed in yellow accompanied the South American food. Spontaneous themed lunches have become a way of making foreign players feel at home. Initiatives like that by Arteta and his staff have gone down very well for the Arsenal players, who believe the spirit of the squad off the pitch has played a key part in their success on it. If the players are turning up an hour early, it's because of things like this. They are seeing the manager trying to make them feel at home. He is trying to make them feel like a team, he's trying to build unity, and I think as Arsenal fans you can actually see that on the pitch. Every time Arsenal score a goal or win a game, the way these guys celebrate, the emotions they show, the fight they show, even when Arsenal are down, what it shows to me is a team that is fighting for each other, is united. And even Martin Odegaard has come out and said it's definitely something special going on here, and I feel like everyone really wants to get the club back up to the top. We're talking 8 wins out of their last 10 Premier League games, 25 points out of a possible 30. That is the best Arsenal form in over 6 years, and it means that Arsenal are the most informed team joint with Man City currently in Europe. Of course you can have your own opinions, but personally speaking I am starting to see a cultural change, and it's things that personally I love to see. Introducing Arsenal's February Player of the Month, it is the Ghanaian excellence of Thomas Partey. And that means in terms of Arsenal's Player of the Month winners so far this year, September went Tomiyasu, October and Ramsdale, likewise November, Martinelli took December, January, and Thomas Partey takes February. But at the same time I will say that I think a certain Martin Odegaard deserved it. Nonetheless though, Thomas Partey was fantastic in the month of February, so I'm not going to take anything away from him, but the likes of Odegaard and Martinelli and Saka and Smith Rowe and Lacazette to thrive, Thomas Partey plays a very important role. Getting that ball forwards, playing those incisive passes, you have to give a shout out to the Ghanaian excellence. But what's absolutely mental for me is if you look at those Arsenal Player of the Month awards, think about how good Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith Rowe and Martin Odegaard have been. Despite their excellence so far this year, none of them have so far been given an Arsenal Player of the Month award. Anyways guys, do let me know your own thoughts on, do you think Thomas Partey deserves to be the Arsenal February Player of the Month? Moving on, let's discuss Alexandre Lacazette. This is a player that has 7 assists in his last 9 Premier League appearances, but it's also a player that will be out of contract come the end of the season. But today, according to reports out of France, Alexandre Lacazette has totally convinced Mikel Arteta, and Arsenal are set to improve on the contract offer they originally made to him in December. But then you also have Chris Wheatley, who claims that Arsenal will sit down with Alexandre Lacazette at the end of the season, with it looking increasingly likely that he will leave the club. Sources close to the player told Football London last summer that Alexandre Lacazette has no intention of extending his stay at the club. So 2 very contrasting reports there, but I'm going to choose to side with the latter, and the reason behind that is because I think Mikel Arteta does like Lacazette. I think he appreciates the work rate behind the scenes on the pitch, and right now he is the Arsenal captain. But most importantly, Mikel Arteta wants a striker that can put the ball into the back of the net, and he's actually confirmed that. He wants to sign a striker that will put the ball into the back of the net. That's priority number 1. Any successful team needs enough goal threat in the squad. Arteta has made it clear that he wants to sign a brand new striker that is consistent at putting the ball into the back of the net. So while Lacazette is very good when it comes to getting assists, he's actually only got 1 Premier League goal in his last 9 appearances. But also your own thoughts on the future of Alexandre Lacazette, and if it came down to you, would you give the Frenchman a brand new contract? According to Adrian Kajumba of the Daily Mail, Arsenal's players will be in line for a huge lump sum bonuses worth up to £500,000 each if they can get the club back into the Champions League for the first time since 2017. It's almost like the Arsenal board have put forward a bit of a carrot for the Arsenal players to run after, saying that if you can get us back into the Champions League, then Josh Kroenke will personally hand deliver you £500,000 each. But of course the key thing here is first things first, getting Champions League football, but if they can do that, here is £500,000. If you want the Arsenal players, you know what to do. According to Chris Wheatley, Football London understands that Arsenal's decision to wear red shorts was a commercial decision from the club in partnership with the kit manufacturer Adidas, which suggests that Adidas are testing the waters to see if the red on red could be a success. Now of course on the weekend the Arsenal players were seen wearing red shorts instead of the normal white shorts, and according to Chris Wheatley it was a tactical decision made by Adidas to test the waters for the future, which does suggest that potentially we might just see further kits with the red shorts. Now personally speaking, you know what, I was a fan of it, but ultimately as long as Arsenal Football Club are winning games and scoring goals, I don't care what kit and what colour they're playing in. But anyways, I'd love to hear from yourselves. Are you guys fans of the Arsenal red shorts with the red kit? Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with let's go down to the Championship, and let's start off with an Arsenal loanee, a striker for the future, and that being Folarin Balogun. Because despite losing 4-1 to Sheffield United, Balogun scored his first ever goal for Middlesbrough. Now that, my friends, as I always say, it's things you absolutely love to see. And the reason why Balogun is down there in the Championship in the first place is to score goals, to get assists, to gain confidence, to gain experience. And this is a game that he didn't even start, so going into the future hopefully he can pick up confidence, start more games and come back to Arsenal as a far better player. But talking about Arsenal loanees, let's talk William Saliba. And here's a stat for you guys that only American Laporte has made more passes per game than William Saliba with 83.8 in Europe's top 5 leagues this season. Because we're a club that wants to become a ball dominant team, so with Saliba showing that sort of dominance during his time at Marseille, it bodes well for when he returns to Arsenal Football Club. Mikel Arteta, speaking on the Emirates Stadium atmosphere, says, you can feel it. You can try to tell people about it, but when you are there, you can just feel it. That it is genuine. That there is this interaction of energy and emotions. I feel a real unity between the supporters and the team. And I, as a fan that has luckily been able to go to so many Arsenal games this year at the Emirates, can only vouch for that. And I think a massive part behind that is the players interacting with the fans. During the game when the going gets tough and maybe Arsenal need a goal, the Arsenal players now turn to the Arsenal fans, they try to rile the fans up. And going to games in the past, that wasn't really a thing. Arteta also says that if you had asked me of what I wanted to do here, I would have said that I want to make the Emirates the toughest stadium to play in England. And as the stats show, 13 matches, 9 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 22 goals scored, 10 goals conceded, a plus 12 goal difference, and 29 out of 39 points, the third most points behind Liverpool and Man City. Mikel is once again slowly but surely making the Emirates a bit of a fortress. You look at Liverpool, when you go to Anfield, you never get a win, and even going to Man City away, it's really hard. If Arsenal do eventually want to fight for Premier League titles, the Emirates Stadium is of course going to play a gargantuan part. But talk to me about yourselves, and do you see the signs of the Emirates once again becoming a bit of a fortress? But that is the video there. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video, and also to subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on them social medias, then the links will be down below. But that was all of the latest Arsenal news today. I hope you guys have enjoyed and been informed as always. Arsenal play on Sunday, Leicester City at home. It's not going to be easy, but I'm looking forward to it. Anyways guys, I'll see you next time. Take care and in a bit.